What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are here with another keyboard review, and I'm excited for this one because we've partnered with Boyi. If you guys don't remember, I reviewed the Boyi GMK 67 GMK 67 not too long, or about a year ago. Really liked that keyboard. I actually thought it was a pretty good budget option for those of you wanting to get into the hobby, and they have decided to send me over a new keyboard. Now this one is a pretty cool one, and I think it might be one of their best keyboards. Now this is a pre-built, but we'll go into that in a little bit. Now the keyboard that we're reviewing today is the Wooting60HE Pro magnetic gaming keyboard. They let me kind of choose whichever keyboard I wanted to review, and I chose this one because I've been seeing a lot of buzz online with the new Wooting60HE. Personally hate the name, but anyways, that keyboard, if you guys don't know about it, is a 60% keyboard that has these magnetic switches. It's supposed to be very, very good for gaming. It's supposed to allow for really precise key presses and allow for customizable actuation. This, based on the descriptions, looks like it is a direct competitor to that. And so when I got it, I wanted to see, does this really compare? Now, I personally have not actually tried the Wooting60HE. So Wooting, if you're listening, would love to try one of your keyboards. But so far, yeah, this seems like it might be the budget option and a pretty good one too. Now, unboxing the Wooting60HE keyboard, this does come with pretty much your standard stuff. The keyboard, it does come with a USB-A to USB-C cable. It comes with a switch remover. It does come with an extra space bar and an extra enter keycap. Now, these are in a light blue, I guess just to add some contrast or to replace if you really want to. Now, the nice thing about this keyboard, it is a hot swappable keyboard, just like the Wooting. Now, the Wooting does use a Gateron X Lecker switch for their magnetic switches. I'm actually not too sure on the switches for the Boyi. I've tried looking. It doesn't show on their website, not even in their Amazon description. I don't know who makes these switches. I am going to make the assumption that these are Boyi's own design and these are their own switches. Now, as far as switch performance goes, they're very, very nice. They're very, very smooth. There's no rattle. They're just very clean feeling when you type on them. Good linear magnetic switch. If you guys have used the Wooting or a similar magnetic switch, you know that there's a decent amount of movement when it comes to your actuation distance. But the idea behind magnetic switches is that you can customize where your actuation is. So you will have, and this is going to be the same between both the Wooting and the Boyi, that you will have a full actuation range of 0.1 millimeters up to 4 millimeters. They're both the same. Now, as far as customizing goes, Boyi does release their own software. Now, if you are on a Mac, you can't use the software. This has to be done on a PC. But if you do have access to like a laptop, you can just program the keyboard really quickly. And the software is pretty nice, to be honest. It's really well laid out. It's a really nice, easy to work interface. You have the option to basically just customize everything from the lighting to the actuation point, turning on rapid trigger for the keyboard. Yeah, it's just really, really nice. So if you do have a PC and you're able to use it, it's very intuitive. I did like the inclusion of free software to be able to customize this keyboard even further. Both keyboards do have an extremely high polling rate. The Wooting60HE does come in at 8K. Now, keep in mind, because of that, because this is focused on gaming, there is no wireless option. This is a wired keyboard only, and that is to help maintain that 8K polling rate. Personally, I feel like 8K might be a bit of an overkill. I think 1000 is generally pretty good for most gaming, unless you're just super competitive. You need every edge that you can get. 8K polling rate is going to allow you to get that extra sensitivity. And to be honest, a lot of it might just be because you need that for this specific magnetic switch actuation customizability. Now, this keyboard is also gasket mounted, and the thing about Boyi is that all their keyboards are very, very budget, which generally means that they're going to be made out of plastic. And the 66 is really no exception to this rule. Even though it is their Pro model, it is a very similar case to their GMK65 and all their other keyboards. It probably uses the exact same case. Wouldn't be surprised if there's just some cost savings there. It's not a bad case, but it's also one of those cases where you do have to pry it apart if you want to get to the switches or, you know, to the PCB or anything like that. BoyE and all their other keyboards, they very much like that foamy sound, right? That thok, that creaminess. And luckily with these switches, you do get that really nice creamy sound profile to it. There is a lot of foam in here. There's case foam, there's a built-in tape mod, so you're gonna get a lot of that sound deadening. If you're into that sound, you might really like the way this keyboard sounds. Me personally, I like a little bit more clack. I like metal keyboards. I like the way they resonate. Plastic cases just don't really resonate for me, and there's just not much sound personality when it comes to these kind of keyboards. That being said, I think it just, for beginners or for people who like that more thocky, creamy sound, this is definitely more your style. And if you like that, this is probably going to be a great keyboard for you. Now, I know I keep talking about budget, but one thing I'm going to bring out is for all this and the fact that, you know, the Wooting and the Wooting60HE are very similar in, you know, just on paper at least. You know, the Wooting has the same adjustment. It does have the what they call happy snappy. The software can monitor two keys at the same time and activate one when the other one becomes depressed, which is very interesting. The Wooting60HE has a different version of that, where essentially you can program it to have two actions for one key press. So kind of like a macro, but more like, you know, you can set it at different points. So at a half press, you do one action, and at a full press, it does the next action. So kind of cool stuff, different technology, different software. But you know, and if that's something that you feel like would be cool, I personally don't think would ever use that feature, but it is a cool feature nonetheless. And I think that is definitely something very unique in keyboards and something pretty cool on the software side from BoyE. Let's get back to the pricing now. The pricing for the BoyE keyboard is $65.50 on Amazon. Currently, this is in United States dollars. So if you are outside of the country, now remember this does ship from China. So if you live closer to China, if you're in Taiwan or in the Philippines or in Southeast Asia or wherever, you're probably gonna find this for a lot cheaper. Us in the United States, this is a $70 keyboard after tax. Not terrible. I think that's actually really cheap and generally in line with most of BoyE's keyboard prices. If you compare that to the Wooting ships from America, and that is $174.99 United States dollars, and that is significantly more expensive. Now, the Wooting does promote on the website that you don't have to use their case, or if you want to, you can use just their, like you can specifically use their case for your own keyboard, but you can remove the PCB and all that stuff and move it to a different case. And that is something that they kind of like promote, like that modular part of it. To be honest, you can do the same thing with BoyE as long as you get the right case where the USB-C hole is lined up, or find a way to kind of like jerry-rig it. You can very much remove the PCB because it basically, there's no wires or anything that connects it to the case, and move it to a different case. So that is very possible with the BoyE as well. So I don't know, it doesn't really seem like that big of a benefit for Wooting personally, but again, I haven't tried one, so would love to. I think that would be really cool to try. But yeah, so far for over $100 less, the BoyE kind of seems like it is the winner in this one, in my opinion. Personally, you get the same amount of actuation adjustment, you get same rapid trigger technology. The switches act really nice. Both are rated to about 100 million or activations or switch presses, I believe. So they're very similar, you know, with the exception that Wooting is maybe a little bit more, you know, has more name to, right? They're partnered with Gateron and Lecker, and so you have those names that kind of like maybe bring up the price a little bit. I haven't tried one, I don't know, but for $100 less, for a magnetic gaming keyboard that is going to give you very similar performance to the Wooting, I don't know. Personally, I think I'll probably go with the BoyE. I mean, you don't get a wrist strap or anything, but you don't really need that on a keyboard. Yeah, I don't really think you need that on a keyboard. But anyways, let's take a listen to what this keyboard sounds like. We haven't done a sound test yet, but let's check it out. So again, yeah, really smooth, really like thocky, really foam sounding. So again, if you're really into that sound, you know, this is a great keyboard. From some of the sound clips I've heard online with the Wooting, it really doesn't come with that much foam. It can be a little bit clacky. I do really appreciate Boyee's attention to detail in the things that kind of really do matter, like stabilizer performance is fantastic, actually, right? There's very little rattle. While I do think the spacebar could sound a little bit better, again, no rattle. It's just really solid stabilizer performance all around. It basically means you don't need to open it up and customize it or do anything to it if you want to make it sound good. It's going to sound really good right out of the box. Right now, obviously, if you want some more clack, you can always open it up and take off the case foam and the tape mod, and that'll probably help give it a little bit of clack. But you know, for the most part, it's pretty much you open it, go, you're good. You're not gonna have that weird rattly sound. Wooting from YouTube videos does seem a bit rattly and just kind of reminds me a little bit too much of like Razer keyboards, just terrible sounding stabilizers. Boyee, on the other hand, it really seems like that's something that they just focus on. It's just a good sound, good, you know, smooth, creamy sound. And now they've just added in these magnetic switches. Yeah, so if you guys are big gamers and you're looking for a competitive edge, something with a lot of customization that will give you that same, you know, precise control over, you know, what you're doing, and you don't want to spend $100, almost $200 for a Wooting, pick up the Wooting60HE Pro magnetic keyboard. Amazon, it's eligible for Prime, so you get 2-day delivery. You'll probably get it the next day. I think this will be a good one. Yeah. So thanks a lot, you guys, for watching. Thanks a lot for looking at this review, and we'll see you guys on the next one.